Hi folks, how you doing? Max from Toneshift, great to see you today. Look, you've caught me at workshop today, so that can mean only one thing, can't it? We're going to have a look at the gear. We're going to do a bit of a rig rundown, which is what you've been asking for. So I'm only too happy to oblige. Let's have a look. Right folks, so we're going to take a look at the big gear in the workshop, and then we'll go back inside and we'll look at the guitars and the effects and things like that in there. Like I said, I've always tried to keep it as simple as possible when I go out. I don't think it's complicated enough when you're gigging without having to worry about loads of gear and stuff like that. So what I'd like to do, first of all, we'll look at the speakers first. So we'll look at the cabs. A few comments about that, about where I place them. So you might have noticed that on some of the gig video clips that I've done, I've got the cabs behind me, which is quite unusual. And somebody did mention about hearing and feedback and stuff like that. Well, my hearing's buggered anyway, to be fair, after all these years standing in front of guitar amps and such like. So I'm not too worried about that. Feedback-wise, really fortunate that I've got a system. I've got two systems. So I've got some Mackies over there. They come out, they're the biggest set, but general gigs, you know, medium to large size clubs, I suppose, pubs, I'll take two subs and two tops. Now, I'll show you this would be a top. And as you can see, yeah, super lightweight, kind of like, you know, as they are, I suppose. These are, I don't know if you'll be able to see that with my nugget way. But yeah, so these have got four, I think they're 3-inch or 2-inch drivers inside. They run on the speak on in from the subs, which I'll show you in just a minute. Like I say, super lightweight, brilliant. They stand on top of poles and they stand on top of it. So the beauty of using the 3-inch column array systems, and so it's like, you know, like these, this is actually called mini arrays, not a line array, because I'll only offend people if I say line array. It's really not. But yeah, the column array stuff, really good at feedback rejection, which is obviously dead important if you're going to put these cabs behind you for monitoring and stuff. Yeah, so that's a top. As you can see, what is it, about, I don't know, 18 inches, something like that. Don't weigh next to out. That's what it is, yeah. And I've got covers for them, chuck covers on them, because I always try and look after my gear best I can, really. And over years, that's done me right. So I've got a few of them, just in case I lose. I've got a couple of spares. I always thought they might be a weak part of the system, but to be fair, I think I've lost an amp once in one of them, in a sub. That was it. Everything else has been spot on. And they're from a company called Thomann, which is based in Germany, I think. In fact, I know they don't make this system anymore. They do something equivalent, and other companies do equivalent stuff to it. So if you did want something like this, plenty of options out there now. Right, what I'll do, just give me a second and I'll set up and I'll show you a sub. Right, so this is basically the powerhouse of the front of house at the moment. So this one's marked up as M. I've got another one down there marked up as S. One's master, one's slave. And there you go, you'll be able to work that out yourself, which one's which. So, nice handle on top of them. So, audience view of this particular cab is quite smart as well, quite plain. Again, I always keep them covered up, keep them clean. We've got a port at the bottom for the bass reflex. I'm not sure if it is reflex actually, but it's ported. Got a screw hole on top just here. And that's for the poles for the tops. They screw straight in. So, yeah, it's quite a heavy box. But not as heavy as some stuff. Right, so what we've got on the back here, like I say, the amps are built into these once again, pat tested. That's the, you can't see that, can you? So that's a power con connection. That's in, twist, done, power switch on, off, fused. Okay, moving to the top then. We've got a, don't know why we've got an RCA input on this at all. Don't know why you'd want that, but we've got one. So yeah, we've got main inputs, combo jacks, XLRs. We've got line outs to another set of Mackies or whatever. That'll be full bandwidth, so it's not shut off at all. It's full bandwidth. We've got main volume with a big what's it around it, big bit of tape so I can see. Sub volume stays in the middle. Sub cutoff frequency or top cutoff frequency, high shelf. Set that to just how you like it. Over here we've got something called PSS, I think, or PSSC. So this is what goes to my other sub. So if I run the other sub, I run a cable out of here and it goes to the other sub, and it basically allows me to control that sub from this one. So I haven't got to worry about trying to balance the subs. It's all done through that one cable. It's just an XLR link, nothing special. Yeah, that's that. It just saves just me doing it. And then here we've got the two speak-on outs to the tops. So you'll have one to the top, which sits on this one, and then one from there to the other side that's sat on top of the other sub. Or occasionally, if I'm in a particularly small place, I don't need two subs. So I will take just this one sub, which is why it's got an M on it. Just take this one sub, two tops, and that's it. Basically run the speak-ons out to the tops, job done. And I'll just put they're just normal stand mounts on the top, so you can mount them on any kind of stands, any kind of standard stands. Yeah, we like that. And that's it for the sub, really. Well, what can I tell you about a sub other than they're heavy and they do the job really, really well? And I've had these for, how long have I had them? I've had those subs for forever. So that's kind of like the setup. I'm not gonna drag poles out, but yeah, there's a pole that sits in top of here for the tops, and that's adjustable, so you can higher it or lower it. And I've also obviously got mic stands and. Right, folks, so box of tricks. So this is something I take with me pretty much every gig. And what I keep in here is my spares, stuff like that, things that I'm probably going to need at some point somewhere. And it's got all sorts in it, right? So, look, we've got a Sonicake backup plan. So they've got a video on this if you want to have a look at it. This is one I take out. You know why I take this one out? It's because it's got a battery. So literally, I can get up and run. I ain't going to worry about, a charging cable or anything with it. Just plug it in, guitar out, amp out, desk out, yeah. And I can charge it USB-C. Yeah, guitar in, line out, 3 patches, I can get to that. It's not a problem. I can get through a night and get me out of this shit night with no problem whatsoever there. Put that over here for a second. Second thing is I just keep a decent selection of like extensions and stuff. And just because you just never know, man. You never know where you're going to show up and there's just got power at the other side of the world, like, you know what I mean? So just take some cables. I've got long IEC cables to make these even longer and stuff like that. So just keep them around just for that, you know. What's this? I don't know what they're doing in there. Pack of strings in there. Let's have a look what else we've got in here. Look, we've got a mic cable for something. That's a lock-in IEC cable. So I don't know if you've seen these. Yeah, they're lockers. You shove that in and come out until you press that button to release it. Dead useful they are, especially if I'm on Mackies. More power, look. I say you can't have too much of that. If you've got room for it, of course. A little patch cable. We've got some more IECs. They're your main thing, really. Laptop cable from laptop to, to desk. Guitar cable if wireless fails. I'll show you that you've seen, or you'll see. Mic cables. So you can see it's really just a box of tricks for what I want. What I'll show you in here as well, look. So somebody asked me about my lighting and how I set my lighting up. Well, shock horror. Oh, there's another jack cable there, look. USB-C cable for charging. It's just useful stuff to have around, man. You know what I mean? Right, look. This is my lighting rig for pubs. Yes, you've seen it right. This is a garden light. It's got an application that you put on your iPhone or your Android or whatever you use. This is 80 watt, which is absolutely insanely bright. And this can light a stage up, and I just set it to a fade and I can switch it on and off from my app on my phone. And it's about 15, 20 quid, mate. You know what I mean? Why would you pay any more for pubs? You just wouldn't. There's nowhere to set a full rig up, really. I've got some moving heads up there. I'm not going to show you them today. I'll do a video on all that. A couple more. Again, they just connect to an app. These are really tiny, as you can see. Still dead bright. These are 30 watt, yeah. So I've got a couple of them, 30 watt ones, either side of me. Ping, light me up, job done. It's enough for pubs, man. They're not, you're not worried about a massive light show in a pub. If in fact you've got lights, you're already winning, because a lot of them don't even bring lights, you know? So yeah, that's my bag of tricks. So microphone, spare microphone and everything lives in other rack. This kind of like, once I've set up, bar anything disastrous, I don't really need to go back in this till end at night when I'm packing away. So this gets then shut down, chuck it in back at car or van, or chuck it in dressing room, depending where I am, and then I don't need to go back in here. But yeah, that's just the kind of stuff I carry around with me, and it changes throughout time, you know. It might be a couple of Tonex pedals in here one week or something. It just depends what I fancy chucking in, you know. But hey, that's that. Let's move on. Right, folks, this is, I suppose, the mothership, really. So this is my, basically my mixing station, and everything else lives in here. Balancing procurement on my toolbox at the minute. So this is just a case. And again, it's from that place in Germany, Thomann. They make dead good stuff, really. You'd be hard pushed to get a better solution, really, for a better price. Especially in Europe. I can't talk for anywhere else, you know, maybe the Americas or Australia. You'll have a similar shop that does similar kind of thing. So as you can see, it might look like a mess, but look, everything I need for a show lives in here. If I've got to go into that other box, either something's gone wrong or I'm putting a light up. That's how I look at it, or I need a bit of power. Everything else lives in here. So potentially, I could just turn up with this, plug in, and I'm off. That's my gig. I've started my gig, I'm away. This is around about what? It's a 2 foot, the 18 inches box. It's about 6 inch deep. It's a bit of foam lining in it, and I'll show you I've made some adjustments to it. I've got a power blocking bag, but we'll go through it. Top comes off, so this just sits on a table. You'll have probably seen it in another video. This will sit on a table in a pub, in a club, whatever, and I'll have my laptop there, my backing track programs on or whatever like that, and then I mix from here, and again I'll show you the L underneath desk there. I've had that a couple of 3 years now. Really impressed with it, but we'll come on to that. Cables and stuff like that, probably not dead interesting. You've got your speak-ons, and these are coloured. Well, actually, these are coloured because my eyes again, because I'm blind as a bat. But yeah, these are the little bit of tape on these is because you find speak-on connections over years get a little bit worn and don't always connect as well as they should. So that kind of just gives it a bit more grip when it goes into the back of your speaker or into the back of your amp or whatever. And the other one on here is XLR cable, which I use to link my subs together. Another cable. This is just a long IEC cable. I don't know, it's about 3 meters long, this one. However, what I've done, I've made a link PowerCon. So PowerCon is kind of like no, I'm going to say professional grade, but it's kind of a lockable power connection, basically similar to Speak-On, made by Newtrick, the same people. And then on the other end, I've got a male IEC, which connects into a normal IEC end. That just gives me flexibility that if I want, I can just put this pigtail in and have an even longer lead than this for me sub. That plugs into my sub. So that's the power cable, guitar stand, Hercules. We all know what these are. Dead useful. Lies almost perfectly flat. These are like, I don't know how much these are, about 25 quid, something like that. Folds nice and flat, you know. Fits in box. That's what's important to me. Nothing's ever fell off it. Yeah, Hercules. Nothing is affiliated, by the way. I'm not sponsored at all. These are me IEC cables I prefer. So these, I can't remember what type of cable this is, but it's like Arctic Flex. This, yeah, H05RR. So this is rubber. That's the cable type, by the way. I'd recommend using H07N, really, something like that. If you search for H07N, you'll find there's some manufacturers that make that, and it's really flexible. Another pigtail there for the one. Yeah, so really flexible, and which is, it doesn't, when it gets cold, it doesn't hold its shape, if you know what I mean, so you can still flex it around. We used to call it Arctic Flex, but technically it's not Arctic Flex, because Arctic Flex was blue or yellow, really. This is obviously black, just because it's on a stage. What else we got going on? Bit more power, can't too much power. And if you've noticed as well, everything's PA tested, so everything's PAT tested. I can do that myself. I've got the machine to do that, so I PAT test everything, certify it, label it up, and I carry a certificate around with me. So if anybody ever asks me for it, I can prove that everything's tested and it's up to scratch. Doesn't happen very often, but it will happen. So if, in the UK anyway, I'm talking about, if you are going out there, it might be worth either, you know, getting a mate, your electrician mate, to PAT test your stuff or whatever. If you can do it yourself, even better. Fortunately, I can do it. We've got some small patch cables here. I think these are about 1200 long XLR cables, basically. Now, what they do, they go from my desk and into my first sub, and that's my stereo out of my desk. So that's basically my front of house feed. Some Velcro straps there. Look, we've got another, that's my main laptop cable. I just chuck that into my laptop and then to my desk. I've got a little crappy blow molded cable here, just a standard TS cable, TS to TS. Nothing special, dead cheap. Probably about 50p on eBay or whatever. That's my FX Defeat. So that comes from whatever I choose to switch MIDI effects on and off with, whether that be Helix, whether it be a MIDI pedal or one of my other pedals. Basically out of there, it goes into my desk foot switch input, and that switches me effects on and off. So in between songs, I can chat without sounding like I'm in the bottom of a canyon. What else am I carrying around? I've got more strings here. Look. I don't even use it anymore. I use Elixir strings, generally speaking, because they last me forever. I mean, come on. You know, I don't need to say anything about that, do I? What else have we got? Yeah, a little multi-tool. You know, nothing special. Get you out of crap every now and again. Bit of fast fret just to keep things clean at night. You know, it's amazing what's in here. Back cream, because my back whips. Sometimes I'll just need to whap a bit of that on. Got some string cleaner, conditioner. 65, can't beat that. Again, you know what I'm talking about. Otravine, up the snap, about 10 minutes before you go on, keeps your nose clear. I bought these ages ago. These are Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes. They're absolutely brilliant. Basically, one of these, you open it up, they're not dead dear. I thought it'd be really expensive to use these, but these, just open one up, you can clean 2 guitars down with it when you're done. Just saves you having to piss around, cleaning your guitar later on, you know. Now then. What's this? Fresh dry balls below the belt. I mean, what's that about then? Why is that in there? Well, I'll tell you why that's in there, shall I? This is a deodorant, but it's liquid form. It's antiperspirant, should I say, but it's in liquid form. And all it is, I sweat like fucking terrible. Wipe it on my hand, and it creates a powdery coating. It stops my fingers sweating half as much. It does leave a bit of residue on guitar that I have to wipe off, but it's only a powder. And yeah, all right, you know, you can see what it's for. But tell you what, done half out, Steve's just sticking to your guitar neck. Free tip, folks. Get some ball cream. Mic clip. Oh, what's doing in there? Should be in another box. Magic tape. This is fabric tape, but it's obviously high day glow stuff, and I use that if I need to just remember where something is. And I'll just rip a little bit off. Right, I remember it's there. You'll see it on a lot of my kit. Again, my eyes aren't as good as they were, and it's dark on stages, so it's good to have something like that just to be able to remind you where you're plugging something in or where you shouldn't be even. So there's that. So these cables are always plugged in. These are basically my cable. Strangely enough, that goes to my microphone. Guitar cable. Now then, that one goes out of the wireless into your Helix or into your Kemper or whatever it is you're using. That's where that goes. Right, on this end, what should we do? Let's do this first. So, pencil cases. Actually, mic cases. Just for crap. Capo. Bag of picks. And if you're curious to what picks I use, I buy them in bags of 72. They're not cheap, but you know. So if you're curious, I'm quite funny about picks, as a lot of guitarists are. I use Dunlop 0.88mm Dunlop Wedge, the green one. So very they are a Tortex, but they're ever so slightly larger than a normal Tortex. And when you've got things like this that you're having to try and cope with, then you need something a little bit more than bloody little picks. Anyway, so yeah, they're the picks I use. If you want to know like that, just drop us a comment or something, and I can tell you exactly what they are, or send you a link to them. Again, not what's tablets, old, you know, headache, stuff like that. I carry a couple of these as well. Now then, we've got a USB-C to 3.5mm stereo jack out. So this is a female end. And I also carry the iPhone version of it. What's it called? Lightning connector. And you know why? Because they stopped putting connections on, didn't they? Stopped putting headphone connections on phones and stuff, and iPads and one thing or another. So if I have to rely on my backup, I can't use. I've got to have a cable for it. So that's what that's for. It's just to cover me. So I've got all my backing tracks. I've got a couple of sets of backing tracks on my phone. So if the worst comes to the worst, I can just grab that and away we go. Obviously, Helix Stadium can also carry backing tracks now, so I've got other options, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on because developments. So microphone of choice for me, I've got 2 really that I enjoy using. I think my favourite's probably the Beta58A by Shure. Hard to beat, isn't it? Let's be fair. I also like AKG D5s. It'll call the D5 with the flat head. I've got that. It's in my guitar case, though, that one. It's a spare. Yeah, that's what they are. But yeah, Shure 58s, of course. That's what I use. I've got my computer cables all tied in. I don't know if you can see that. I'll probably move this around a little bit now, just a second. Right, yeah, so in here we've got, I covered my desk up with foam stuff just to make sure I don't drop anything on it. Smash screen in. So this is a little bit weird here. So we've got a, what's it, MagSafe adapter for the MacBook. We've got a little power supply here that I don't like leaving plugged in. It's one of the multi ones. Now, what I've got in here, I've got a mic mechanic. I don't know if you can see this just here. Don't really get much use, if I'm honest. But it's got a decent compressor in it, quite like. So, yeah, that cable that I showed you earlier, one that goes to the mic, goes into the mic, all right, and then straight back into my desk here. So, I need to replace this cable. I keep on fronting. If I do that while I've got all this crap out. Yeah, so that just drops into my desk like that. My power supply for my desk actually lives underneath where my desk is at the minute. I'll bring you around and show you desk properly in a minute. I use, obviously tape, everything's taped up once again. So I use line 6 G10, relay G10. That's the base station in there. That plugs directly USB into me power strip. It's got 2 USB sockets on it. Plug that in there, charges up, and I'm away. Unplug it, and I'm ready to go. I've had this years. I know there's a bit of what's it with them, wasn't there? Some charging problems with them. I've not had any trouble with that one, if I'm honest. That's really it for in there. The other thing I've got here is that's my laptop stand. It folds nice and flat. Laptop sits on top of there, and I'll show you laptop when we go back in. That's basically it, you know. Yeah, so what we've got here is, so this is my mixing desk, really. I'm going to plug that in for you in just a second. Mic mechanic at back, like I say, gets very little use, really. It's there to save day if ever I need it. It has got a nice compressor in there, what I call it, like a gold channel or whatever's in there. It's fine. It sounds quite good. I've got the power supply for the mixing desk actually lives underneath here. I've got this on like I built a foam panel out of some old foam parts. I always try and save all this, you know, this stuff that comes sometimes when you buy something. Hang on to it, because it's useful if you're going to build something like this and have some, you know, try and pack gear in. It's always really useful to be able to have somewhere sensible to put it. Right, so let me plug this in. We'll have a quick look at mixing desk. Not going to take you through it fully on this one. This is more of a rig type rundown just to show you what the gear it is I use. Let's see if I can plug in somewhere. That's all on now. So if I plug that in there, that'll start charging. And when it's charged on G10, stay solid green, so I know. If I'm having trouble with connection, which I've never had, touch wood, plug it back in, repair it, and away it goes again. So out the back of there, by the way, out the back of the wireless, there's the other end to the, it's the jack cable that goes into the Elixir or whatever it is I'm using. Hence everything front of house. Right, so let's switch mixer on then. This is an Heath CQ12T. Been through a lot of mixers in my years, I could tell you. I think this one is possibly one of the best. Yamaha desks too, they're really, really good. But yeah, so this basically fires up, boots up dead quick. I just click it on faders. It's pretty much as you left, how you switched it off, shut it down. That's how it stays, you know. Not sure how well you can actually see that screen. But we've got effects to feed on and off. And then basically that there is a foot switch where that cheapo cable goes in and back into me, to defeat it. So that's a remote control for that, really. You can touch screen it if you want. Or you can use this dial here, which is what I like to do. I like having a bit more control using that. There's a model up from this. It's got extra 3 rotaries on, which it needs 18 channels. So watch it. And same again with this. So you can go, you know, you can mix up and down with that if you like. You'll see you've got full compressors, got parametric EQs, you've got, and this is Helix. None of these are in, by the way. You've got gate there. You've got your sends. I can go through this if anybody's interested. Just let me know down in the description. This video is going to be long enough as it is. That's my desk. You shut it down. It's basically a computer, so shut it down properly. It will save you heartache in future, I would have thought. There we go. That's that.